I'm a natural resource specialist here at Cecil M. Harden Lake, which is located in Rockville, Indiana, and I work for the Army Corps of Engineers. Harden Lake, this is a flood control project developed by the Army Corps of Engineers, basically to omit flooding in this area. There's a big lake. This is the dam right here. If you look over to our right hand side, this is the dam. Behind the dam is obviously the lake. This is below the dam, and I thought it'd be a great place for a pollinator planting, as we have lots of people, all of our recreators, driving up and down the dam here. So if you look down below the dam, you get to see this beautiful display of native wildflowers. So this planting itself is about 2 years old now. Prior to this, there was an old rank stand of warm season grasses, which kind of began to get infested with invasives like Johnson grass. So I've been working here for about 3 years now, and I have a real passion for this kind of stuff. So when I got here, I saw an opportunity to make this better, and that's kind of what we did, working with Quail and Pheasants Forever. They helped us out, kind of guided us, let us borrow the seed drill, which helped us get the seed in the ground 2 years ago. The first year it looked, pretty weedy, pretty much, like nothing. We ended up mowing it a couple times. And then this year it just really took off with the Rebecca and the Coreopsis and the Bergamot, and it looks night and day different compared to what it did 2 years ago. So it's really established well pretty quickly, in my opinion, and we've seen a great influx of wildlife usage. We've seen lots of fawns being born down here. We've seen turkey poults down here, and obviously your songbirds and your pollinators. So not necessarily cost savings, because seed is not cheap, but the Army Corps does currently have a pollinator initiative going on. So they're really promoting us to do more for pollinators. So this was kind of my way to get involved in that aspect and help the pollinators in our area. As like we're talking about earlier, this is Park County is one of the locations where the rusty patch bumblebee, I believe, exists still. So we're really trying to help those guys out. I'm not seeing them down here quite yet, but I've also not looked, specifically for them. So hopefully with time, they'll make their way here. So I've always been an outdoorsman. My whole life I've hunted, fished. I was stomping through creeks when I was a kid. And I went to the military, got out of the military, was kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to school for fish and wildlife management. Then I kind of stumbled into this job here with the Corps as a natural resource specialist, and it's kind of just snowballed from there. So the biggest thing I learned was patience. These things take time. I mean, this thing I think looks awesome for 2 years, but I'm really excited to see what it looks like, in 3, 4, 5 years. But yeah, patience is key, and then preparation is key as well. You got to have a good soil base. You need to, unfortunately, spray herbicide to get that soil base clean, get all the invasives and all the pesky weeds and all that kind of stuff out of there, because without good preparation, you're going to waste your time putting expensive seed in the ground just to have it covered up with a bunch of weeds in a year or two. So short term, I mean, everybody wants immediate results. I know I did, but again, I had to tell myself, be patient. Bill told me that as well, be patient. So we kind of just slowed things down. We had COVID, obviously, was a concern 2 years ago, so we were even kind of a year behind where I wanted to be at. So this took an extra year just to get the seed in the ground. But we took our time. We tried to do things correctly, and in the end, it does pay off. And as you can see, it's beautiful compared to what it was. So hopefully, it just gets better with time. How did I get a hold of Quail Forever? Well, I mean, I was aware of the organization, right? Just being a hunter myself, I knew Pheasants Forever, Quail Forever existed. And I really needed a seed drill, right? Because I didn't want to have to broadcast this and end up losing a bunch of seed and all that kind of stuff. So I started looking around, and I saw that Quail Forever did have a seed drill, and that they were willing to donate it out to groups that were interested in planting, these kind of pollinator plots. So I ended up getting a hold of, I believe, Zach Kane first, and he kind of shot me over to Nick Goliath. I don't want to mess his name up. And then I ended up getting a hold of you, and that's kind of when things really took off, and you came down here, helped us out, dedicated a lot of your time here, and whatnot, which we are very appreciative. So thank you, Bill.
Well, your supervisors, the public, have you heard any good, bad, indifferent?
Oh yeah, I know my manager, he's pretty impressed with it. Everyone that comes down here, even driving across the dam, they always comment on how beautiful it is. But yeah, hopefully now that we've had success with this, I can kind of plant the seed, so to speak, in other projects in Indiana, as well as just here at our project. We can kind of revamp some of these other plots that we have they're okay, but they got a lot of non-beneficials growing in there as well.
So this is year 2 of this planting, and you can see how successful it is just from year 2. I know that we talked about, the sleep, creep, and pop, and right now we're seeing a popping of some of those forbs that have already put down their roots that are ready to kind of bloom on the top half. But from his seed mix that he showed with that had all the highlighted, there was still some that haven't even popped up yet. That might be a new growth that you're going to see in year 3. So he said that he put some herbicide down on this, clethodon, and that was to help with the Johnson grass. So it was a grass specific. So if you put a grass specific herbicide on there, it's not really going to hurt your forb content. So that was kind of the important thing that he did there. And as you can see, I haven't seen any Johnson grass. So they must have did a really good job with that herbicide application. So this is for sure wild senna. It doesn't have any thorns on it. It's not a locust. That's a legume. It's part of the pea family. It's really beneficial to pollinators because it provides a lot of pollen for them. So that's good to have in a planting as well. This is butterfly milkweed. So it's really beneficial to hummingbirds and butterflies. And unlike other milkweeds, it has a clear translucent sap. So not that milky sap that you're used to seeing with milkweeds. So he's good to have around for your butterflies and your hummingbirds. But right now, like I said, we're in second week of July. We're near the end of their bloom period.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of Facebook posts on about this stuff to educate the public on our Facebook page and stuff like that as well. Us as employees come down here quite a bit, but it's kind of off the beaten path. There's not currently a good way to get down here for the public to utilize, but we are working on that, hoping to maybe get some kind of path put down here, or something like that, maybe some interpretive signs, something like that. But currently, the public mostly view it from atop the dam, which, you can get a great view from up there.